Hi, everybody. This is Ken Wilson. Once upon a time, I broadcast blues hockey. I always listen to Let's Go Blues Radio. It's everything you'll want as a blues fan. Oh, baby.
Stop doing those diet or workout fads to lose weight. Use the tried and true approach from Rockin' That Ideal Life that helps you find balance while enjoying food in moderation and nourishing your body. Try the Lean 30 program at rockinthatIdealLife.com and let today be your last first day of your weight loss journey.
When buying or selling your home, you need to feel protected. Realtor Mike Burgoyne not only looks out for your interests, but as a St. Louis area police officer will make sure you feel safe and well-informed with every decision. Email Mike at strikewithmike.com and start the process today. That's Mike at strikewithmike.com.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, somehow, some way, they are celebrating 13 years as the original and longest-running St. Louis Blues podcast. Are you sure? No one even thought they'd make 13 episodes. I mean, literally all they talk about is drinking beer and hockey. It's 13 seasons already? I guess somehow it works. Ladies and gentlemen, Ponder, Price, and Day. This is Let's Go Blues Radio, Season 13, and your show starts now.
Welcome to episode 3 of season 13. This is episode number 434 all time of the often imitated, never duplicated. How could I possibly be expected to handle school on a day like this? We're the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Special thanks to our sponsors, RockinThatIdealLife.com, StrikeWithMike.com, and CenterIceBrewery.com. For once again proudly sponsoring the show, please check them out. Also, don't forget to check out our t-shirt shop at Let'sGoBlues.com for the very best St. Louis Blues themed t-shirts at an unbelievably fair price. It is Wednesday, October 25th. That's my nickname in high school. It's Fair Price. It's Wednesday, October 25th, and we're streaming live right now on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter to interact with the show on social media. Our handle on all the socials is at LGB Radio. I'm Kurt Price, and my co-host for the big show this evening was Bill Day and Jeff Ponder. The agenda for tonight includes discussion about the 2024 Blues Hall of Fame class, the last few games that the Blues have played since our last show. The lack of offense on the Blues is offensive, and our likes and dislikes right now with this team, and the NHL cannot make up its mind on Pride Tape. We'll talk about all of that and more on this titillating edition of Let's Go Blues Radio. Hello, gentlemen. It's almost Halloween.
Well,
Any Halloween plans?
As the show was starting, it might be too late next week. I forgot to wear the outfit that I bought this week. I am now a proud owner of a David S. Pumpkins getup.
You got the suit?
Yes, and I was going to wear it tonight, and I totally forgot. So, oh well.
Hey, okay, so when you buy something like that, you need to have like more than one. You can't just wear it the one night. You got to wear it on the show next week. It's still.
Are we gonna it'll probably do what, the 1st, November 1st?
Yeah, that's the
Wednesday.
1st. Yeah.
So I mean, I guess I could still wear it then. People are
Halloween.
Pumpkins
is a fall theme, right? So you can swing it.
Yeah, I guess, even though it's based around
I know. That skit is awesome.
Skit, yeah. That skit is great. We probably have talked about this before, but you know that originally Tom Hanks did not want to do it.
Yeah, he thought
he said that they should do it the following week when Chris Hemsworth was hosting because he thought he would have been better.
Oh, I don't know about
that.
And
I'm like, ooh, I don't know, Tom Hanks. That might have been a bad call on your part.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I think it would have still been funny, but it would not have. Tom Hanks makes that character.
Yeah, he did a good job.
100%.
The smile on his face is just priceless.
And you could have fooled me. I thought you were in costume tonight because, Kurt, I don't know, give me an opinion.
Oh, nice.
It's Andre Poodle Lucier from Slapshot.
You
just need to wear an orange jersey. That is totally
Bill,
Syracuse Bulldogs. Yeah,
Bill, I don't know if I've told you. I told you what I'm actually going as on actual Halloween night. I'm Laszlo Cravensworth from
nice.
What We Do in the Shadows.
You did.
My wife, she's going to be Nadia, and she put her costume on for me the other night, and I was like, that's incredible. So we're gonna look pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Definitely will have to check out your Facebook for all the photos.
Oh yeah, there'll be plenty.
Maybe your OnlyFans too. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely check it out. OnlyFans.com/jponder94.
This show needs an OnlyFans. It really does. You know, OnlyFans was started. It was not a porn site.
No,
a homegrown.
It was
porn
just
site.
for content. It was
It
like
was just
a
for pay-per-view
Patreon
content
kind of idea.
Yeah, like a Patreon. Yeah.
And it blew up. People realized quickly how much they can make off that, and the porn industry just took over.
There are some of the top earners on OnlyFans. I think I read Cardi B, right, she's only posted like 3 or 4 things on her OnlyFans channel, and it's not porn. It's just her saying something or a picture of something, doing something. And she has tons of subscribers. She makes millions a month, and she doesn't even use it. People just subscribe to subscribe, and they pay so much, like $8-9 a month or whatever it is.
Well, then we can do it. Let's try it.
Yeah, make millions.
We're regionally famous. We can make at least $10 probably a month.
Maybe $1.
And here we are giving it away for free.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know. Some podcasts, some blues podcasts tried that a while back with the pay-per-view content, and that didn't fly too well. So
Patreon.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I don't know.
Yeah.
Justin Scott is coming in hot. He's already got some hockey takes to talk about here. And Justin, I'm going to assume we all agree with you. We will get to that later when we actually, when the hockey show actually starts talking about hockey.
Right.
About midnight.
I like it when they put those topics out there, though. They put them out there, and then we can, it's content to add to our existing content. We can talk this good stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just sitting there waiting. It's like in queue.
Mm-hmm.
The official beers of episode number 434. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. My handle is CPrice12. Jeff's is JPonder94. Bill's is Billy Blue Note 33. And I think we started off with Bill last week, right? So
we did.
I guess we'll just do it again. Bill, what you got?
Sure. Let's keep it going. It's Midland. Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
Fat Elvis. Fat
It's
Elvis
just a
is
good
back.
beer.
It is. I've been trying to work through all the Oktoberfest that I put in my fridge. So this is the first one I've had. I've had it in there for a couple of weeks, and super excited to have it here tonight. Looking forward to the remainder of those and the additional that I buy next time I go to Four Hands to get the Voltron beer.
I can't wait.
Oh,
I remember the journey that Amy and I went on to find Fat Elvis when it was first released, because it sold out quick at Four Hands, and they got it back in, and then we went there and they were out again. And so we went over to, I forgot where it was, somewhere in West County or something, to go get it. They weren't supposed to have it on tap yet. I forgot the name of the place.
Llewellyn's had
Llewellyn's to Webster.
Yeah,
Llewellyn's Webster. Right? They were not supposed to have it on tap yet, but they did. So we went there and we got it. It was delicious.
I think it was who told the other one, me or you? I don't remember, but
you.
I think I told you.
I think you did. Yeah,
because I went there randomly one night.
Yeah.
I had a hockey game, and I was like, oh, hey guys, let's stop in for a beer. And a couple of us stopped in, and I saw the tap, and it said Fat Elvis. And I even said to the bartender, I was like, you don't have that in, right? You just have the tap ready. And she's like, oh no, we just got it in yesterday. And I'm like, give me that all night.
I don't care what it costs.
Yeah, and that was the first time I ever had it, and I knew I was going to love it. And oh my god, I was in heaven. And I think I even texted you while I was sitting there, like, holy shit, get to Llewellyn's. They've got Fat Elvis.
It's peanut butter banana chocolate. I mean, what's not to like?
Yeah.
More That Girl chimes in. Whoa, that is a new way that the graphics pop up. That's interesting.
It's Halloweenish.
That's
Halloweeny.
Cool. More That Girl says Bill and Ponder have a better memory than Kurt.
Yeah. I never claimed to have a good memory.
I think she's saying the memory is being used as a noun here. Like, well, I guess it would be either way. She's saying our memory is better than yours in terms of we remember that. I can't explain it. I can't explain it.
I'm pretty sure I took it how you gave it.
How are you taking it?
That you have a better memory than me. as far as the occasion and what it's called.
Yes. Okay. I thought you were saying.
I didn't know there was another way to take it.
Like I remember things better.
Oh, you might.
That's
Your
how I thought
mental
you were taking
faculties are failing.
Yeah.
It depends. It depends what it is. I don't know.
Oh, the English language sucks.
I at least I didn't forget who I went with. Amy? That'd have been bad. I went with somebody to Llewellyn's. I don't know who it was.
Oh,
Some chick.
I did that about
Some
3
rando.
years. It was about 3 years after Jess and I got together, and I was recalling some date we went on, and she's like, "This never happened," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I like made her feel stupid because I'm like, "How do you not remember this?" And then it dawned on me. I'm like,
This is some other girl.
"Oh, that was the girl I dated before Jessica." Oops.
Yeah, I did that once. She's like, "That wasn't me." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Well, you should have been there. It was fun.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
great.
yeah. You would
should have been
Hey,
there.
it would have been more fun if you would have been there.
Yeah,
that's what I meant
oh,
to say.
Yeah, nice save. Yeah, I don't think that. I don't know if there was any digging out of that hole.
Nope, there was not.
All right.
So
Jeff,
mine,
yeah.
Bill mentioned his Oktoberfest. I am drinking Oktoberfest tonight from Schlafly.
But it's October, Jeff.
It is October. It's not September.
Uh,
And I'm still drinking an Oktoberfest.
If that lady at Global Brew is listening,
She's not.
you can't drink Oktoberfest in October. It's September beer. Very nice. I've got a beer that I bought for Bill. Wow, that was a lot of B's in that sentence. From Public House. It's called Giddy Goat Coffee Milk Stout. Coffee milk stout is not really my thing, but it's pretty good, actually. It's not too strong on the coffee, but I thought Bill would like it. So I offered to buy him some because they had it on clearance. It was like $5 for a 6-pack.
Oof, wow.
Something like that. It was super cheap.
Yeah, and damn that extra 7 miles between us now.
All right. I just can't get it to you. It's impossible.
I know it's yeah.
I never see you, so.
And there's not even a river of fire like when we have to go over to the Missouri side to keep
River of Fire.
That you can't cross.
you can't cross. You can't. Well, I can't cross 2 rivers in one day. It takes everything out of me.
Don't you have to like pay the ferryman for that kind of a thing?
Yeah, it's way too taxing.
Yeah.
Ferryman
Now
was my
but
nickname in college.
Ferryman?
Sorry. I hope Matt Harris.
I was the ferryman, the skeleton guy on the boat, the ferry you got to pay coins to take you across the River Styx, wherever it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
that reminds me of, and this is probably a crude joke by today's standards, but I think we've talked about it on the show. Spin City is my favorite show of all time. Miss the hell out of it. The Michael J. Fox years, not the Charlie Sheen years.
Okay.
One of my favorite jokes from that was when the mayor was talking to a gay member of his staff, and he's like, "This is worse than that time you took me on the gay cruise." And the gay guy goes, "That was the Staten Island ferry." And the mayor goes, "I don't care who he was. He needs to keep his hands to himself."
The Statline Ferry. That's a social media handle, right? Of the Staten Island Ferry parody account or something.
Has to be.
That's funny. All right, let's get into it. Keith Kachuk, Pavel Demitra, and Mike Liute were named the 2024 St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame class. They'll be inducted on Friday, January 19th at the Missouri Athletic Club in downtown St. Louis. Kachuk, Liute, and Demitra's wife. Is it pronounced Maja?
I believe it's Maja.
Maja. I was going to guess Maja.
Yeah.
Will be in attendance for the induction dinner. All 3 players will be celebrated at the January 20th game against the Capitals. There are some videos on the St. Louis Blues website where Kachuk and Maja Demitra learned of their inductions. Matthew and Brady Kachuk informed their dad, Keith Kachuk, and Maja was notified by Keith and Chantal Kachuk, and then Federico notified Liute. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, they did the same thing. I don't remember who it was to, but when Panger was here last year, they
Yes.
with Liute, they brought somebody in they said
Who
it was
was
just
that?
for an interview, like an alumni interview. What was it? I can't remember what it was now. And they had Pang come in and they talked about some old game they played against each other or something. And yeah, they did the same thing to Liut. I guess they told him he was just coming in for an interview, and then Federico came in with his Blues alumni or Blues Hall of Fame jacket on and notified him that he was going to be inducted. So pretty cool. I mean, Bill, to hear from you first. Let's talk about Liut first. You pretty happy with that decision?
Oh, yeah, totally vindicated. And I think all of our summer series has been thrown out the window with him getting second class here. Yeah, I mean, the reason why I always wanted to be goalie, right? The got to see him when I was 3 years old, and just, his stature in the net, just amazing. And we only got to see him for a very short period. He was out of here by 85, and
he's got the best plain white mask ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah,
iconic. You don't. I mean, just to see a white mask, that's Liut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
no design.
Yeah. I was looking at today. Actually, I was looking at just his stats after he left here and how many good years he still had by those standards, by that day's standards, in Hartford and I can't remember where else he
Washington's where he
Washington. Yeah. So yeah, and I was looking, I'm like, man, if they would have held on to him, who knows? And I know that's what we do here in St. Louis. Could they have won a cup if they wouldn't have got rid of this guy? Curtis Joseph comes to mind. Same thing with Liut. You look at the years he had when he left here, he was still good. And it's a shame because you think, too, we always talk about how the Blues never had that franchise goalie. Mike Liut leads this team and wins already. Had he had stayed another 3 or 4 more years, holy shit, he would have put up some monster numbers.
Yeah. Wonder what would have happened, a possible what if segment. But yeah, he was out of here, went up against Patrick Waugh in 86 as Hartford's number 1, lost to Canadians first round, I believe it was, and first or second. And, that he was a big part of that team getting there. But yeah, it's going back to Kurt's comment about the mask, got to be the number 1 plain white mask of all time. Mm-hmm. I think that's 100% true. There are a couple other guys, Bernie Perrant, that's slightly less iconic. Maybe Pelle Lindbergh, special place in my heart as well. But yeah, that mask. And do yourself a favor, and if you haven't seen his mask when he was in the minors in Cincinnati, same mask, but with a great design. It was the Stingers? Beautiful mask.
Oh,
absolutely.
The Cincinnati team.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful mask.
Yeah.
And, he did a great job of melding mask with the uniform that he was in. Right. It made so much sense with, as predominantly white as the Blues home jersey was then. It just works so well.
Yeah. Been saying for a while now that if any former Blues player deserved to get his number retired, in my opinion, it's Dimitra. The Blues. So the Blues Hall of Fame induction here for him is a no-brainer. You knew he was gonna. It was coming. It was just a matter of when. And Liut, Tkachuk, and Dimitra, slam dunks, right? As far as being inducted, the Cardinals have their Hall of Fame inductions every year, and some people are like, "Really, is he going to go?" I mean, he's not really a Hall of Fame caliber guy. Like they're forcing people in, but it being early on in the induction process for this Hall of Fame, there's a bunch of guys, that are going to go, no brainer. So, and these are 3 easy picks for me. So, with
this being the second class, but the first class after
the initial,
inaugural, like all the guys that were definitely getting in the retired numbers, and with this being that first class, I'm glad they went with 3. I'm okay with them kind of loading up on 3. I think going forward, I'd like to see maybe 2.
Yeah. You're gonna run out of players
really quick. I mean, we could say all day long the Blues have had a rich history. They have, but compared to like the Cardinals, who've been around for 120 years or whatever it is, like That's double the amount of time the Blues have been around. So I would like to say that they are going to maybe not be pushing 3 every year, but your first 3, again, that aren't a part of that initial class, this nails it. I mean, Tkachuk's still a part of the St. Louis community. Again, we've talked about Mike Liut and his contributions to the Blues. And then, Pavel Demitra, just, again, one of the, you said it, Kurt, that the guy that, could easily have his number retired next by the Blues. I don't think it's going to happen at this point.
No.
But if it were to be, hey, we're going to retire a player next year, it'll be Demitra in my mind. But yeah, just a huge part of this organization, and obviously such a tragedy. And it's going to be really cool seeing his wife come in town and being a part of that January 20th game. I don't know if you guys watched the video with her getting told by the Tkachuks, but like she was elated. She kind of did the whole, like, her hands over her mouth and was just like, wow, what an honor. Like, she was very excited. So it'll be really cool to see her in town for this, to remember Pavel. And, and I'm sure for Keith, and he said it too, so exciting to be put in at the same time as one of his most beloved teammates.
Yeah. And he gets emotional about it. It's just, how close they were. And I don't think it was known to the degree of how close they were when they were both here playing. But you kind of found that out after the fact. So how close they were. So and he even said in the video, he's gonna cry about, and I'm sure he will on, when they're honored that night when he's talking. So
yep,
it's going to be, it'll be a good night. The Blues play the Coyotes, Penguins, and the Jets. We'll get into that on the other side of this break. You're listening to Kurt, Bill, and Jeff on Let's Go Blues Radio.
We'll return after these messages.
We've all tried a diet or workout fad at one time or another, but it always ends the same, right? We either lose the weight and then get back to our routine, but then put the weight right back on, or it just simply never takes hold. It's time to move into a habit-based program that focuses on organization and simplicity. Rock and That Idea Life's Lean 30 lays it all out for you with the correct food to eat, how to meal prep, and even sprinkles in plenty of healthy recipes. With Lean 30, you'll get the full ID Life arsenal, including energy for that needed kick, a tasty Nourish shake for your needed fiber intake, Slim Plus to help control your cravings and provide a metabolic boost, Lean capsules help bust those sugar cravings, and IED Nutrition gives you the added punch you need that takes the guesswork out of what supplements to take. Join the many who are seeing success and make this your last first day on a new program. Visit rockandthatidealife.com to get started, and remember to email Dustin at rockandthatidealife@gmail.com for an extra 10% off exclusively for Let's Go Blues Radio listeners. Start your transformation to the confident, vibrant person you've always wanted to be with rockandthatidealife.com.
Center Ice Brewery is a beer lover's dream for hockey fans. Based in St. Louis, Missouri, owner Steve Albers has been brewing hockey-themed favorites for thirsty sports fans since 2017. From the Beauty IPA to the Old Arena Lager, a cold, frosty, hockey-themed beer is just what the doctor ordered for hockey fans in St. Louis. Make sure to check your local beer store for Center Ice Brewery beer today. LGB. Let's go beer.
St. Louis hockey fans know how it takes a reliable captain and a team of hard workers to achieve major goals. As a police officer and a hockey player, realtor Mike Burgoyne would wear the C in any situation. As a leader in the home buying or selling process, Mike has surrounded himself with a team of trustworthy inspectors, lenders, and escrow officers that work together more cohesively than Hall & Oates. And as a member of many teams in his life, Mike knows the service our first responders, veterans, nurses, teachers, and yes, even you Let's Go Blues Radio listeners provide the community, so he offers special rates to those individuals. Find the value in Mike's leadership and teamwork today by emailing him at mike@strikewithmike.com or calling 314-753-4060. He'll work closely with you and only show you the homes that match your goals. That email again is mike@strikewithmike.com or call him at 314-753-4060 and succeed with your new teammate today.
And now, back to Let's Go Blues Radio, the longest running St. Louis Blues podcast with Price, Ponder, and Day.
I asked you guys what you were doing for Halloween, and I didn't even share what I was doing.
Well, let's hear it, son.
Amy and I are going to the Casa Loma Ballroom for their Halloween party.
Are you allowed back in there yet?
Bill and my cousin Jeff and I and a couple other friends of ours and their girlfriends and whatnot. So we went there for the Y2K celebration, New Year's Eve. And
wow,
I'm wouldn't be shocked if some of our faces are posted up on the wall there saying "Do not serve."
All right, what did you do?
I didn't do anything. But I ended up holding a trash can in the bathroom for one of the people in our party who was filling it up with puke.
Yeah,
and,
I just
you
used.
Can't be blamed for that.
Right.
You all thought the world was coming to an end.
Did. And I had really just literally days before graduated college, so I was getting my celebration on.
Yeah.
And I the plastic party hat that I had doubled as my puke bucket.
Those don't hold puke, sir.
They do though. They do until you stand up and knock it over when you're being thrown out.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. That was, I mean, that was a night. I remember. There was a Beatles cover band.
Yep.
Right, playing, and my cousin Jeff is a huge Beatles fan, and was at the time, and we're on the dance floor there, and he's like wanting to like crawl up on stage or something or grab a speaker, and one of the band members while playing is trying to shoo him off the stage. I'm trying to pull him down. I'm like, dude, come on.
Yeah, we were out of hand.
It was.
That reminds me of the night that the Blues won the cup, and we were at, I don't remember what the bar was. It was the Shark Bar.
BBV
at Ballpark Village, but they had renamed it for the playoff
HPV?
run. Yes, that's exactly what they renamed it. No, they renamed it because they played the Sharks in the Western Finals. So I don't remember what they named it something else for that. I think during the Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
final.
they had they had something over the top of it, right?
Yeah. So the Blues won. We're all partying. We're going nuts, and they invite all the girls are on stage. Like, girls, get on stage. And I didn't hear them just say girls, so I jumped on stage, and this guy's like trying to shoo me off, and there's like 4 guy Blues fans that are like holding me and like pushing me back on stage, and I'm like, guys, he said no guys. They're like, the Blues just won the cup. Fuck it, stay up there. And I'm like, and the guy was like, yeah, he's right. Blues won the cup. Everybody get up here. And I was like, okay, but yeah, it was funny because guys normally are not allowed to come on stage apparently at the Shark Bar.
No, I would imagine that they wouldn't let guys do a lot of stuff they let girls do at the Shark Bar.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Blues get trounced by the Coyotes 6-2 last Thursday night after playing 2 pretty good games to start the season. This was simply a bad one for the Blues, and the score was every bit representative of the actual game. Joel Hoferberg got to his first start of the season. I didn't think he looked particularly good in this game.
I don't think he looked good. I don't think he looked bad.
I thought there were there were 3 goals that pop out in my mind, and 2 I didn't like at all. So it was
I agree.
3 I didn't like at all, and 2 were worse than the other one. I guess the one, the shot off his glove when he slid across, it bends his glove back, and it was like, and you had that. And then the 2 ones where they cut across the middle and they the 5-hole.
Yeah,
shots.
the backhand
the backhand on Keller,
cut across the middle.
Keller,
yeah, that was
his pad just lifted off the ice, and the puck goes right under the pad. I'm like, dude.
Yeah,
and so I don't know, 2 5-hole goals that the leakers that went through, and then the glove, the Trapper one, and like.
Yeah, the Schmaltz goal that he slid out of position and Schmaltz put it right center of the net. At that point I was like, yeah, he's rattled, and his we're seeing a bit of the a case of the Jake Allens here.
Yeah, okay, let me rephrase. I want to say he wasn't good and he wasn't bad. He wasn't terrible. Like, that was a performance I feel like they still, if they would have put up 3-4 goals and would have played better defense, they could have still won that game with some not great goaltending. But they didn't have the offense. Yeah. The defense did not help him out.
No,
there was a lot of cross crease, no backdoor tap-in still, which was great, but there was a lot, like that first power play, they just worked the Blues and every pass got through, no sticks in lanes.
Yeah, it wasn't that. I agree with you. It wasn't that Hofer was like the glaring problem in this game. There was a bunch of stuff that was just it was like anything throwing on the dartboard. Yeah, that was a problem.
Yeah. We're getting the easy talking point out of the way early, right? The goalie wasn't that great.
No, I mean he could have been better. He made some nice saves too, but a couple of softies in my book. So the PK was terrible in this game. Allowed 3 power play goals.
Yes,
including Arizona's first goal of the game in the first period. So it's just like sloppy coverage, sloppy puck management in this game. Just killed the Blues. And Keller continues to kill the Blues every single game.
Dude, what did they? I need to look up the stats, but against the Blues, he's put up like 24 points in like 18 games or something.
Yeah, it's over a point a game, and just sign him already, right? And
I know he's making $7 million a year or something like that.
Yeah, his contract's ridiculous.
But it's pretty high.
I gotta look it up now, but he every time he plays, I'm like, man, like stop coming home, stop coming here, Clayton, stay in Arizona.
You want hockey reference?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, I'm looking. Against the Blues, 25 games played, 11 goals, 26 points. Like that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, you're over a point a game guy.
Yeah,
on a team has not been particularly good, right? Since he's been there.
By far, well, not by far, but the most points he has against any other team.
Okay.
He's played more games against the Ducks. That's the team he's scored 21 points against. So, yeah, in his world, he would play against the Blues 82 games a year because he would be a 100-point scorer.
Alexandrov had a bad game. A couple bad turnovers, misplays in center. It was one turnover coming out of the zone that resulted in a Coyote goal, and then another one where he had a pass should have easily intercepted right under his stick, and they come in and score after that. So it's like the two plays.
He had a bad game,
and Tucker too. Tucker got walked wide.
Same play.
Yeah, Tucker and Alexandrov that same play. So I mean, just a bad game all around.
When you are full on walked like that, and listen, we've said on this show before how annoyed we used to be with Panger calling out young players, but not the older players. But I'll say, man, when you are a veteran of 10 games as Tyler Tucker, and you get walked like that, and then just overall just not good defensive coverage in the game, I really thought, I'm like, we're going to see a defensive change here. Like, we have to get Perunovic in there. Like, we're all wanting to see Perunovic. Get him. This is your opportunity here. Tucker, think about you sit in the corner and you think about what you did. You take him out of the game, let Perunovic have his moment. And if that doesn't work out, put Tucker right back in next game. But I mean, we'll get to it, but that is not what happened.
No.
I kind of it's been 5 games now. I was expecting to see Perunovic a little faster. A little sooner, than maybe next game.
Yeah, so. And that was the perfect opportunity, the perfect reason for it to happen in the Penguins game. But no,
Arizona was 3 for 4 on the power play. Blues were 0 for 2. The Blues lost the faceoff battle 44.6% to 55.4%. Hofer finished his first start of the season with a negative 2.11 goals saved above expected, which is below expected. Stopped 36 out of 42 shots, and 3 of the goals against we talked about that were from from low and medium danger areas. So, and the other 3 were of course high danger.
And and again, we'll talk about this trend here a little bit, probably more, but the fact that he faced 42 shots.
Yes.
I mean, that's a lot of shots. And listen, I said this during the game, and I still believe it. Coyotes are a much better team than I think people are giving them credit for. I think they are going to be battling for a playoff spot this year. I don't think they'll get it. I think they'll be there. So they're better than what people are giving them credit for. But, I mean, their offense was prolific in this game. And it wasn't just like Arizona just had it this night. It was the Blues played awful. They did not cover guys. They weren't picking guys up. And shots were coming from everywhere on the ice. Just not a good game.
Yeah, the Jersey power play goal was just disgusting. I mean, he was allowed to walk to the ladies' tee, and Nick Leddy had time to try to get out and cut him off, and instead he slid off to the side of the net. And that just, if I'm Joel Hofer, I'm like, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Why are you even out here?
If you're not going to try to cut the lane down, Jesus Christ, what is your purpose on this PK? It was terrible. Yeah. Just absolutely disgusting by that point.
Well, and then just a super clean face-off win, too. Like, you talked about the face-off battle, Kurt. Face-offs were bad for the Blues this game. And every one that the Coyotes won, it was like this goal that Bill's talking about. It was a clean, super clean win. And then, like you said, like parting of the Red Seas, the Red Sea. It was the Blues just stepping aside, and Jersey literally just – I felt like he was looking like, okay, where's my challenge? Like, when is somebody going to step up on me? And nobody ever did. And he just kept gliding towards the net, took a shot and scored. It's just, you gave him a freebie on that one.
Yep. The Blues did bounce back the following game and beat the Penguins 4-2 to close up the homestand. This is so after a good, decent first couple games of the season, the Blues played poorly in the third game against Arizona, and as expected, fans were out in the streets with pitchforks. Just sky is falling. The Blues had a bad, terrible game, and they're like, "This is who they are." Okay, it's the bipolar nature of social media.
Do we want to talk about Justin Scott's comment now, or do we want to wait?
Sure, go ahead, bring it up. You got
it? Here we go.
It's hard to read.
It says, we are not into the hockey portion of the show quite yet. That was earlier, obviously. But I truly do believe people are blowing these one-game losses way out of proportion. People are doing way too much panicking. Let me ask you guys a question before we really get into it. I want to ask you guys a question. How angry have you been with these losses?
The Coyotes game, I was angry and like had that gonna be a long season kind of feel, but I didn't take to social media, and
I was annoyed. I was annoyed. I was annoyed at the Arizona game because it just looked like, because they played. I thought they played pretty well the first two games. They had good, and defensively they were good. They got good goaltending, which helps, right? But and the third game was a big drop off. So, when I'm watching this game, I'm thinking, if the first two games had sucked and they've been terrible in the first two games and they played like this against Arizona, I think I'd been a lot more irritated. But I was, they played two good ones. They played a crap game. We'll see how they rebound. I've always been a guy who's like, well, this game sucks. You get irritated, you get angry at individual plays or efforts or whatever. But, to me, it's like, okay, next game, you got to show me something. You got to rebound a certain way. You got to improve your play. You got to fix what you did wrong coming off that bad loss. If you string together a bunch of losses in a row, like we saw against Arizona, then I get angry and irritated, and all the vitriol on social media is kind of justified because the team's just playing like ass over a longer period of time. One game, though, like Justin Scott says, yeah, I mean, they're throwaway games, right? Yeah, I mean, so as long as they don't keep doing this in a series of games.
I think annoyed is the perfect word for me, too, because especially after, like you said, this Coyotes game, I was annoyed. I was like, because like you said, first two games, they played well. You got kind of high hopes, like, okay, division rival again here. A team that really might be on the same level as the Blues this year. Let's just see a good effort. And so it was annoying to see just them get worked all night long. But overall, in this game and then the Jets game, which we'll talk about later, I was like, this is just kind of what I expected with this team. We're not – I've kind of let myself get out of the let's see what we can do in the playoffs, like let's just get there kind of mode, and just say this team probably isn't going to make the playoffs. So why get all bent out of shape if the Blues are going to lose a couple games here or there?
That's an interesting – and I've thought about that. It's a good take that it's almost like people need a reality check, right? Because the expectations of this team going into the season were – there's a good chance they're going to miss the playoffs. I mean, if they miss, it shouldn't surprise anyone, right? Because that was kind of the general expectation. If they do make the playoffs, hey, then they're better than you thought, okay? But it's a great point because people get all upset about the first bad loss of the season, right? And it's again game 3, and people get all bent out of shape online. Like, what did you think this team was? I mean, did the first 2 games give you false hope? As far as like, well, the defense is playing pretty well. The goaltending is getting they're getting great goaltending, and the forwards should come around, right? Because the offense should be the strongest part of this team, but that hasn't been the case so far this season.
Yeah, I'll say that I have not been angry at all. I mean, I've been a little, like you said, annoyed, maybe slightly angry towards some of the choices on some guys playing. Scandella, excuse me. But outside of that,
and that's always a fan thing. It's person who's playing what. It's no matter what sport it is. Yeah, fans have the
and so I'm not going to say I've been really angry at all. I've just, for one, at this point in the season, I'm just happy hockey's back. Like I'm sitting here watching hockey on a fucking Thursday night.
Yeah.
Like this is great. So there's that aspect of it. And yeah, my expectations are tempered. Last year, if this was how they started the year last year, which it kind of was, I was a little pissed because the thought was this team came close to beating the Avalanche, the Stanley Cup champions, in the playoffs the previous year. Let's see them do that again. And it wasn't there. So last year, there was some anger, but right now, no. This is kind of what I'm expecting, a 500 hockey team, and that's right where we're at right now.
So I had commented before the Pittsburgh game, like the morning of, I guess, that if the Blues played well and they win, will the outraged fans from Game 3 apologize for losing it right over one game? And there are a bunch of people that replied and said, no, there's nothing to apologize for. They played like ass, blah blah blah. Okay, so and they did play well against Pittsburgh and they did win. And so I was like, I just kind of laughed. I was like, it's just like will this let people know that, hey, maybe don't overreact over one game. But no, that's not going to be the case. So fans are going to fan.
Yep.
Bennington was back in this game, made 31 saves. Brandon Saad scored twice in a 4-2 Blues win versus the Penguins. I thought Saad could have had 4 goals in this game.
He was a man possessed in this game.
It's funny because he had 2 goals, and I'm thinking he didn't play very good because he could have scored 4 or 5. Right? I mean, if you scored 2 or 3 less goals than you should have, I don't know.
The effort on that first goal from not just him, but Kyrou and Thomas to keep that play going, and Pittsburgh kind of laid down and died there towards the end of it. But yeah, they were going, and I'm like, whoo, look out. This line might be what this team's hoping for right now.
Yeah, Saad was playing on that top line with Buchnevich out. So that, and that was a goal mile scramble, right? And Thomas made a nice play. Well, it would have been a nice play over to Kyrou, but it goes off a defenseman's skate, and then right to Saad, who buried it. So,
yeah, and it's that dreaded offensive guy gets to bury the puck in the center of the net kind of situation, like in the Arizona game for us. So it was had a good feeling after this goal. Like we righted the ship.
Yep.
Although, full disclosure, I watched this on replay Sunday morning after I was at the City games Saturday night. So,
unfortunate. I had a much more fun. Well, it was. I'm sure it was still fun.
It was,
But I had a very fun evening. I know I told you guys about it last year. You should come with me next year. Beer Fest at St. Louis Science Center. All the local breweries get together. They just sample beer all night. And they get a bunch of other ones. There's some from New York, Colorado that came. So it's a blast. So yeah, we sat around and got drunk at the Science Center. That was fun.
What's the beer fest that Urban Chestnut has every year? The
Wolpertinger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that thing where all the tons of breweries there, just giving out. You get a mug and you just go around. That was fun. Went there a couple years ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago. So yeah, solid scores in the first period. Then Malkin ties it up late in the first, just seconds to go. Blues were on the power play. It had just expired. Malkin comes out of the box. The Penguins go to clear the puck, and it is right to Krug at the point and bounces over his stick. And it goes right to Malkin, who's got all the time in the world, just skating on Binnington, slows down, takes his time. And scores.
What does this goal remind you guys of?
Remind me of?
No, nothing.
Pietrangelo at the point?
Well, yes. But no, I was thinking Taves' goal in 2019.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Where like
that was
right comes right out of the box, right on his tape. He has all the time in the world.
That was they were both bad luck. The Taves one was like Duncan Keith, right? Just turned around and wheeled it and fired it out of the zone.
He said he swears he did not know he was there.
It was right on his tape.
He was just shooting the puck out right on his tape.
Yeah.
This one, it was clearly a pass. Like penalties almost expired, and the Blues were kind of pressuring.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so easy for people to get pissed at Krug for that puck going over his stick. He's trying to keep the play alive, and the Blues are bearing down on the goal. This is just one of those unfortunate, went over the tape, boom. It's only one of the best goal scorers in NHL history that's coming out of the box. You hope Binnington makes that save, but then again, even if he makes that save and there's a rebound, there's nobody within 30 feet of Evgeny Malkin. So, just an unfortunate play, I think, for the Blues, and it really didn't even upset me when I saw it.
It annoyed me because I thought the Blues had played a really good first period, I thought, and we're up 1-0. I thought, okay, we'll have the lead one in the second, and then that shit happens, and 6 seconds to go or something in the period.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's bad luck. I see why you're upset about it, but I'm saying I don't blame anyone in particular.
But I wanted to. I wanted to.
I did too.
I went back and I watched it 3 or 4 times. Whose fault was this? It's just shitty bounce.
I guess. I mean, what could also have happened? You could have said, well, Krug could have went down on one knee and made sure it didn't leave the zone.
No.
Or you could have, he could have gotten his leg in front of it to make sure it didn't hop over his stick. Would have, could have, but that's not typically because he's looking to corral it and shoot or pass, right?
Exactly.
So
that's the point. You can tell the way he played it. He was trying to get it and stop it, and then in the same motion whip a shot back on net. And it's just unfortunate it didn't work
out. Yep. Second period, Kapanen created something out of nothing. Fantastic goal. Fantastic setup, I guess, by Kapanen. He dances around a couple Penguins players in the slot, drew Jarry out of the net as he went wide on the goal and slides a pass to Neighbors just out of the reach of Jarry's glove, who Neighbors at the edge of the crease and for a tap in on the far side. Beautiful play by Kapanen.
Yeah.
Kapanen was buzzing this game.
Yeah.
You could tell he was like, fuck you, Pittsburgh. I'm pulling a Ron Burgundy. Fuck you, Pittsburgh. He was raring to go, and that move, that's the best move. That's the best play he's made as a St. Louis Blue.
Yeah, the only guy on this team that wasn't really buzzing and still had a solid game was Sundqvist, right? Pittsburgh ties Brandon Saad from there. Kapanen cut by them. Yeah. Beautiful games by those guys, and love to see Blues getting on highlight reels. Doesn't happen often enough.
And then there was a break-in play by Toropchenko, stopped by Jarry. The puck came to Parayko at the point. After that, he lets go a booming slap shot, whizzes by Jarry and in with the help of a Sundqvist screen in front. it's been a while since we've seen that out of Parayko. And what is really good to see this season, I think, and we can talk about this more a little bit later, but Parayko, I mean, he's doing everything he wasn't doing last season, right? He's carrying the puck out of zone. He's dominant in the neutral zone as far as progression of the puck up the ice, and he's got that. He's got a goal now from the point on a nice shot that he needs to get on goal more.
Again, Justin Scott in the chat, Parayko has been a very good bright spot. Yes, he has. He has had a great start to the year, and
that's huge.
That booming shot. I mean, I missed that. That I feel like we not even the cup year. I feel like we saw that more his first 2 or 3 seasons in the NHL, and we just don't see it.
He just anymore. I mean, it's there, but it's never on net.
Right.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
He'll let it go, but it's like 6 feet wide.
Right. It's you kind of wonder if it was him being afraid of hitting somebody and killing them, or if it just that the Blues are like, you're turning the puck over by shooting, so taking the booming slapper, so just throw wrist shots at the goal. But yeah, whatever it is, he came into this season with a different focus and is playing to his strengths, and it's amazing to see. If we can get him a good partner, it'll be all the better.
I was hoping on the replay that it wasn't tipped. I wanted him to get this goal.
Yeah.
I wanted this to be his.
Although Sonny, great net front presence.
Sure.
With great screen of Jari. And Pittsburgh did a bad job of coverage.
And I don't care if you got a 110-mile-an-hour shot coming at the net. If there's no screen, the goalie's going to stop it.
Right. I think they said it was 87 miles per hour.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I was surprised to see. Did you see what the hardest shit? Did you guys take a look at the new NHL Edge stats that are coming out?
No, I haven't seen it. They released a lot more of the tracking stats. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the tracking stats that has not been available to us, anyone. But it is available now. I think it's NHL.com/edge, I believe is how you get to it. The hardest shot last year in a game, surprisingly, was like 102.1. And I'm like, man, I really thought the way some of these guys one-time it. Yeah, right. I really thought the way these guys one-time it, I'm like, these shots are probably coming in harder than we see in the slap shot competition, but clearly not.
I'm there right now on Edge, and you can select team. Man, goaltending stats are interesting.
Yes, there's some I could lose a whole day on that site. There's some. Apparently, you guys know who recorded the fastest skate time by a defenseman all of last season?
Was it Parayko?
No.
Okay, Parayko's up there.
I could probably give you, I'm not kidding, 80 guesses, and you would never get it. Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson.
He's the slowest.
There was apparently one play where he just booked it, and he recorded the fastest skating time from any defenseman. Faster than McCarr, faster than Gerard, all of them.
Yeah, he and McCarr swapped trackers in between.
That's what it was.
There's no way. Either that or he saved up all of his speed for his entire career and burned it on one skate.
Because apparently his average speed was ridiculously lower than that, but he just had this one burst that just jetted him across the rink. Interesting stuff to see what guys can do in the moment. So yeah, definitely check that out, fans, if you haven't yet.
Saad got his second of the game on a 2-on-1 with Thomas. Saad just picked top shelf on Jari. Great shot by Saad. And then Pittsburgh got their second goal of the game late in the third to cut the lead to 4-2. Fluky play. Saved by Binnington. Rebound goes off Belay in front. Lands at the side of the net, far post, where a Pittsburgh player had just come from behind the net and just kind of slammed it in. Binnington almost got over to get it too, but he couldn't. So kind of a bad luck goal there.
Yeah, I hated seeing him give up a second goal, but like you said, fluky play, shit's going to happen. Yep. Even Bill Day has given up a fluky goal or two in his day.
He's also made fluky saves in his day. Which doesn't happen at the NHL level very often.
The Blues were outshot in this game at 33-21, which has been a theme this season. Shots on goal have not been in abundance for the Blues.
I will say the good news is I think they have been giving up a lot of shots, but I think the quality chances have gone down in comparison to last year.
Yeah, for sure.
Shots against. Yeah,
Yes.
I agree.
Yes, sorry.
I agree. And I think, when people just look at shots against versus, shots for, obviously you want to have more shots on net. I mean, it looks good, right? And less against. You get it, right? I get it. But no, I agree. So many of these shots against are from the outside, and there's not a ton of chances in close. Teams are going to get chances in close. They're professional hockey players. They're good. They're going to get some chances. But I agree with you. They've limited these chances, especially compared to last season, quite a bit. And so, take the shots against with a grain of salt to some degree, because you gotta watch the games, right? You got to see where these shots are coming from and how dangerous these chances are. Because if teams are going to be peppering, Bennington is shooting from everywhere. Well, you can't, and the Blues are blocking a lot of shots too.
Despite my rant last week, I do think that this is where maybe looking at your advanced stats does help, because even though there's been high danger chances that were not recorded as high danger chances, for the most part, those kind of low versus medium versus high danger chances will tell you the Blues defense is doing better by comparison than it was last year. Because, Bennington would tell you, any goalie would tell you, Bill, right? Give me a shot that I can see from 30 feet out all day. I can handle that. Like, it's the fucking backdoor tap-ins. It's the booming slap.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Not even close. Not even close.
It's 10 p.m. somewhere. No, it's not.
No, it's not. But no, it's the booming slap shots that have the fucking three people in front of them. It's the turnover right in front of the net that is leading to a scoring chance. Yeah. Like, that's the kind of shit that I think wore Binnington down last year. I think this type of play, even though he's facing 35, 40 shots a game at sometimes, I think he would take this all day over what he faced last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank God he wasn't in net in the Arizona game. Like, if somebody's going to take a lump, I'd rather be Hofer, right? Let him get a little calloused with some bad play in front of him. Still thinking about that Jersey goal, and nobody cutting him off, letting him take a booming slap shot from 20 feet, right? That you almost have to say, we could argue that that's a high danger scoring chance, because if you get to tee it up from the hash marks, you're probably going to score. And it's the team has done a good job of eliminating secondary chances. I think that's been a huge part of it. Go back to first game of the year, Saad clearing the puck off the line, when everybody's crashing the net. I think they've done a very good job to this point.
It's funny because people have noticed that the defense has improved, but they're saying, well, the offense has suffered as a result of the new defensive scheme. And I don't think that's necessarily the case, because when the Blues have had chances, right? But they've had trouble finishing. They've had some golden chances.
Kyrou 2 breakaways against Winnipeg.
Yeah.
I was going to say first period of last night's game. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And they just haven't buried enough of their golden chances. You would like to think the pendulum would swing back the other way and we start to see some of those shots go in a little more than they are now. But, their zone time is suffering. That's a problem. And that has to do with, if they get a chance, but they don't get second chances. So they've got to work on getting second chances. They got to work on sustained offensive zone time, because the sustained offensive zone time, best defense is a good offense. If you've got the puck in the offensive zone, they're not pepping your goalie with shots either. So if you can get a little more zone time, that's a little less time they're going to be in your zone. So, And more shots for you.
I forget what the idiom is, but it's whatever it is about just because one thing's true doesn't mean the other thing has to be true. You mentioned people have said the defense is better, but the offense is suffering because of it. I think the offense is suffering because the offense is suffering. Yeah. I don't think it's like, well, they implemented this new system on D and the Blues because the Blues still have this. The breakout strategy to me has improved. I think it looks better. They're not like they're getting a chance on the breakout, but then they're not maintaining puck control. They're not getting somebody crashing on the rebound who's going to like slide it back to the point and then the point works it around. Like, we're not seeing that overall pressure. We saw it a little bit, I think, last night, actually. I think there were points in the game where they looked better than they've looked all year. I know it's, again, small sample size. But, I think last night they had moments where it was like, okay, this is what the offense needs to do. It's just they couldn't beat Hellebuck. Hellebuck,
he was good.
Has been a Blues killer in certain instances.
Well, they say his record was like 11, was it 13-5 and 1 or 2 or something against the Blues?
Something
like
pretty
that.
Good. And his GAA is like, I think right at 2 or right under it. Like he's been a good goalie against the Blues. And so, and like I said, that first period, which go ahead.
I was going to say, he's just been a good goalie, right? Vezina candidate several years in a row, right? Or several, many seasons in the last 5, right? He's been right up there in that conversation. And he had, apart from the 2019 playoff run, he's played so well against us. And it wasn't that he played bad, just Bennington outplayed him in that series.
Yeah.
You know,
and Jaden Schwartz was on a tear in that series.
The the idea that the offense is suffering because the defense is playing better. I think when people say that, it's like a talking point. It's like nonsensical. It's like if you were to ask them, "Oh, can you explain it?" They can't. They don't. They have nothing. It's like, oh, well, it just sounds good. Because
now as a Hitchcock coach team, that was definitely the case because he stressed we don't need to control the puck. We just need to keep players to the outside and then take our chances when we can.
Yeah,
but that's not what this team is.
No, and they've had entering the zone. They've been okay, but they just haven't been in there that long. So it's not like they're not trying to get into the zone where they're playing safe. They're not doing that. They're entering the zone, but they're not getting any sustained offensive zone time.
Right.
Well, and I don't remember who it was. I want to say it was maybe Robert Thomas had commented recently, either after the Arizona game or after this game last night against Winnipeg, that they're not on the forecheck the way they know they need to be. They're not getting deep into the zone and attacking the defenseman and making their jobs hell. And I think that if the Blues were to do that a little bit better, and maybe that just comes with time, maybe these guys just need to work together a little bit more. Maybe we see that a little more. But yeah, it just feels like the Blues don't. And again, it's, we've got different personnel since the 2019 team. Things are a little different, but still, like that forecheck to me. And again, I think at points last night, it looked great. There was one point where Kyrou went behind the net and stole the puck from a Winnipeg defenseman. And Thomas was right there to help him out. And it was like, these are the guys that need to be leading the charge, and they were doing it. So I think we're getting there. I think it's just taking a little time for this team to be able to figure that out.
Yeah. To me, I think the narrative's more, it's a team that's adopted a new system on the defensive side of the puck, and they're putting more of their mental energy to that, which may be slowing down the game. And it's just a matter of time before they get it figured out. But again, it's always going to come down to execution when you're in the offensive zone. And that is just not happening with this team right now. Yep. And just real quick MLS update.
Yes, I'm watching.
The game is going to Cincinnati, San Jose game to determine who we play first round is going to PKs.
Yep.
0-0 through 95.
There has been some chances in this game.
I forgot it was even on.
San Jose and
so a little bit.
Yeah, San Jose and KC. This game has been Woo!
Yeah.
There have been some chances the last like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. Johnny Russell getting cut down right outside the box twice in the last 20 minutes.
What's the score?
And can't convert. Nothing.
0-0.
And the Bears are winning.
The Bears.
To go back to your intro.
Right. Yeah. It's a theme.
It's callback. It's
a theme.
Comedy.
Let me pull up.
That's a thing in podcasts, right? Callbacks.
Yes.
Sure. Callbacks. Yeah.
Okay.
Foreshadowing.
I'm still learning podcast lingo. I've only been in this industry for 12 years, 13 years.
It's because you spend so much time in the media.
That's what it is. Yes, 100%. I was in the media.
See, that's another callback, but to a previous show or every other show we've ever done.
Swedish stud muffins, right, Kurt?
Yeah. Right. Does anybody else hate Apple TV?
Yes.
It's terrible.
Yes.
Jeff and I had that.
We've been talking about it before we got on.
It is so bad.
Yeah.
It is. It really is.
Oh God. Subscribe. No, I don't want to subscribe. I'm already a
subscriber.
I'm already a subscriber. I got to log in again.
Kurt, do you want me to start jumping in talking about the game here so you can figure that out?
No. You want to? Go ahead. Yeah,
I'll do it.
Sure.
I'll handle it.
All right.
So Blues and Jets Tuesday night. Blues do drop this one, unfortunately, to the Winnipeg Jets. First big note out of this one is Doug Armstrong, which I did not know until they put this out there. That Doug Armstrong, that was his 1,000th regular season game as the Blues GM. Under his watch, the team's record is 560, 333, and 107. That is a .614 points percentage. Keep in mind, this team is they made the playoffs. Oh, goodness. They put the stat up last night. I want to say it was 12 out of 14 seasons under his watch. They made the playoffs, which is, hey, that's fucking phenomenal. I've had my qualms with Doug Armstrong. I have a few now. I had a lot more back before they won the Cup. Mm-hmm. But he has had some impressive teams, and he's gotten into the playoffs a ton. He's made some weird choices here and there, but overall, one of the best GMs to ever GM, right? I mean, it's weird to say that, but it's true. I mean, he's only won one Stanley Cup, but in terms of regular season success, he's had a ton of it.
Yeah, he knows how to put together a very, very good core to be very competitive in regular seasons. It's just these fringe years like we're in now. That's where it's like, he's really out of his comfort zone, and not willing to blow it up and start from scratch, but willing to suffer mediocrity. So that we can get back to it in a year or two. I mean, I respect that. It's painful. Last year was very painful. But shit, we're still basking in the glory of 2019, right? If we're saying that when we get to 2029, then it's a problem, right?
Yeah.
But
hey, the Blues haven't made the playoffs in 10 years, but remember when we won that one Stanley Cup 10 years ago? That was awesome. Yeah, I'm with you. Hopefully that's not the case. We've all questioned many of his moves, but overall, and I'll say I've looked back to his Dallas days, and I do think, he was a young GM at the time. We got a save in the MLS shootout.
He is the savingest goaltender when it comes to PKs in MLS history.
Ooh.
So
I did not know that. There's your little factoid of the evening for you MLS fans.
Yeah.
That was one thing, my big knock against him when the Stars entered their rebuild. They had no draft picks. There was no first round picks. Very little second round picks. They didn't have any prospects in the cupboard, and it was holy shit. Doug Armstrong left that team to die. And I was afraid with the Yori Laterra trade, the Braden Shen trade. The Ryan O'Reilly trade. I was a little concerned. I'm like, oh my God, he's doing the same thing here. And then when the team sucked at the start of 2018, 2019, what just happened?
That was the worst penalty kick I've ever seen in my life.
What just happened? We just saw 2 consecutive saves in the PKs. That never happens.
But
what is he doing?
He didn't even the goalie didn't even have to dive and was able to reach back because it was
stood there.
He rolled it at the net.
Oh my God! I've never seen that.
Oh my God! I think I'm ahead of you. Yeah,
I think you are. I have not seen this yet.
This is working out to build that great rivalry. It's right now.
Oh, it is. Huh?
Yeah. Kurt's not even get
here.
Oh
my God!
Because the Apple TV fucking sucks.
You have to watch the Messi documentary, and then they'll let you watch the game.
Then you got to watch all 3 seasons of Ted Lasso.
I'll get there eventually.
All right. Anyway, so no, Doug Armstrong, 1,000 game. Congratulations to him. I'm sure we'll see something rewarding that in the next Blues home game. So in this game, Jordan Binnington, of course, comes back in the net after that Pittsburgh win. The Jets were without their head coach, Rick Bowness. Unfortunately, his wife suffered a seizure on Sunday, which I didn't know that until the game started. I was like, oh, shit. That's unfortunate. So Buchnevich returns to the lineup after missing a couple games and had a goal and an assist in this game. So were you surprised to see Buchnevich back so quickly?
I was. He's been so injury prone. I expect him. And last year he had that one injury that just lingered. Right, it just seemed like it kept him out for a good week, a good 3 weeks past when we expected him back. And I thought for sure he was going to get injured. Once I saw he was in the lineup, like, oh, well, they'll put him out there and he'll get injured. But no, he got the Blues power play goal.
Yep,
our first of the year.
Was great. That was a damn good tip, too. And, of course, it was Buchnevich because that's the guy we've been missing since Game 2 for the power play. So, that was a great tip. And, Blues, that was a nice start for the power play there because, it has been dismal, to say the least, to open the season.
All right. San Jose
so
needs
again,
a save.
So we talked about Kyrou a little bit earlier. Within the first 5 minutes of the game, Kyrou breaks in, shoots it off the far pad. Brandon Saad had a wide open net and just misses. Put it right back into Hellebuck off his pad. But let's see Kurt's notes here. If Hellebuck wasn't there, I think Saad's shot goes wide and misses the entire net.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
Yeah, or grazes the post, or it doesn't go in. I don't think.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I agree. Just not a very good shot by Saad. Kurt, you got the game on?
It's loading up right now. It's fucking Apple TV. Okay, there we go. It's up.
You're going to get like the last shot.
I got it now. It's 3-1 KC. And San Jose needs to score. I don't know where you guys are at, but that's...
I think you're probably right on with Bill. I think I'm like about 10, 15 seconds behind.
Okay. Yep. So now it comes down to San Jose needing a save. Sorry for the spoiler, Jeff.
I'm almost rooting. Okay. I almost want KC to win just because I want the St. Louis KC matchup. I want it so bad.
You want that rivalry.
I want to beat KC. Yeah, in the playoffs. And plus, San Jose just beat us, so fuck them.
Do you want me to keep going, Kurt, or you want to take it over?
We're out here. Where'd you leave off?
A few minutes into the second period. Well, okay, so we're done here in the first period. Again, the Blues, so many chances in that first period. It was nuts, man. I'm like, they are got to put one of these in, and I said that at the end of the game when they lost. I'm like, sorry, spoiler alert, but like I was like, if they capitalize on one of those chances in the first period, I think that's a whole different game. But they just could not capitalize. Like you said, Kyrou with the multiple breakaways, you thought, man, eventually he's got to put one of those in, but just could not capitalize. And the Blues just end of the first period without a goal, which was crazy after the chances they had.
Yeah, and then a few minutes into the second period, right? Winnipeg scores 1-0.
Yep.
And this was a missed assignment, not paying attention. You're puck watching. You're not paying attention, who's coming on the ice and where they're going. These players came off the bench and they Sundqvist wasn't looking, and who else was it? Was it Shen? Somebody else. Neighbors.
No.
It was Sundqvist and Neighbors that Sundqvist didn't pick him up, and then Neighbors was kind of off in the slot, and he was like guarding nobody.
Yeah.
So
to me,
the forwards didn't pick up the forwards didn't
Right.
pick up the players coming in the zone.
Yeah. To me, it was Scandella and bad board play. Right. Had a chance to squeeze a guy off of the boards and let him go
before
continue,
that.
Continue behind the net, and nobody picked Gustafsson coming in from the slot.
Yeah, and and
my point on Scandella, and I think maybe I'm just picking on Scandella because it could have been really him or either of the forwards. You got to be aware that there's a guy coming from the bench and he's streaking to the net, and nobody was even. He just slipped through everyone, and I know that it was a bang play again. Guys fresh off the bench coming in as hard as he can. Nobody's picking him up. Like, not one person looks over and says, "Oh, look at this guy coming in. Holy shit, I should probably at least try and tie up his stick." There was none of that on this play. They just let him go right there, uncontested. He's just
teeing off on the – and kudos to, Winnipeg for taking advantage of that. They executed perfectly and just teed off, from the – I don't know where it was, the face-off dot or in between.
Pretty much face-off dot.
Yeah, it was just, come on. So, a few seconds later, Winnipeg does it again. Same kind of pass play from behind the unread line, right? It's the soft spot between the D and the O. One-timer by Appleton. And it's by Bennington to make it 2-0. And then Rube called the timeout here. It should have been, when you allow these goals, you look back on, I do anyway. I'll pull them up on NHL.com and I'll kind of just slow it down, look at the replay and say, okay, what went wrong here? Who wasn't where they were supposed to be? Or was it just a really good play that was really hard to defend and you tip your cap? Both these last two goals were not that. They were just, guys puck watching, not paying attention to who's, in that soft spot, in that soft zone. Forward's not coming back to pick up that guy. So, and then the timeout gets called.
This one,
after that.
This one, I think there was 4 guys in no man's land.
Yeah.
They were all just kind of standing
I thought it was Shen.
watching the play.
I thought Shen was caught standing still at this point on this one.
Yeah.
So
he was way too deep. I think you got to write in the notes, right?
Yeah.
He was way too deep, but I think he felt like he had to be there because Scandella was out of position, missing a check on the boards, letting the guy get behind to slide in, and so Shen's collapsing down close to the net. There's zero communication from Scandella saying, "Hey, move out, I'm coming," and Shen just is dead right at the top of the crease.
You said no communication. I feel like there was no communication between all 4 guys right there.
Sure.
Not one of them was like, I got him, go. Go cover him at the point, get on the pass. There was none of that. They were all just standing there. And it was, again, how many times do we see this last year where the Blues give up a goal and they instantly give up another one? And it was just, Jesus, guys, get your fucking heads in the game. And I know that that's the cliche that everyone's going to, oh, they're not paying attention. No, it's okay, guys, we just gave up a goal. Let's focus. Let's button down. And it was a lot of the same guys on the ice as the first goal. And it was just, come on, pay attention. You can't just be standing in no man's land and just let that guy take the shot. Again, very similar to the first goal, just on the other side of the net.
Just a lack of responsibility, and it cost the Blues 2 goals, and more or less the difference in the game, right? It was the first 2 goals of the game for Winnipeg, and the Blues got on the board, late in the second period. Finally, power play goal, hallelujah! The first in the 13 tries the season. Shen feeds Bushnevich in the slot, who redirects the pass up and over Hellebuck under the bar. Top shelf, beautiful redirection. For 2-1 lead for Winnipeg going to the third. Early in the third period, the Blues won the faceoff in their own zone, gained possession, but then coughed it up with a sloppy puck possession play in the corner. Parayko slides the puck up the boards to Leddy. Leddy misses it, and he reaches for it, tries to poke out of the zone, doesn't do it, gets held in. Winnipeg quickly turns it back toward the goal on a 2-on-1, and Connor beats Bennington, upper blocker from the faceoff dot, probably Bennington's softest goal of the season. But I'll say this about it, and I want to get your feedback, Bill, on this. So earlier in the game, there was a play that the Jets tried to go backdoor, similar spot on the ice, right? Left side pass across to backdoor pass to a guy, and it was a 100-mile-an-hour pass, and it didn't connect. But if it had connected, it'd been a goal. And Bennington was on the post, and I think he was expecting a shot, and the pass came, and he kind of fell back a little bit and wasn't there to make the save on the far side post if the pass had connected. So I'm thinking it was a very similar play to that, but this one gets shot. So he's cheating off the post, thinking the pass is going across. I'm not going to get burned this time by that pass, and he got burned near post this time. That's the way I thought might be going through his mind.
I want Bill to respond, but I'm just going to add this too. Factor in how many backdoor chances the guy faced fucking last year too.
Right.
I think that factors into the mental capacity too.
Right. I disagree completely with the characterization that it's a soft goal. This is a goal given up by the defense, right? Nick Leddy fumbling the puck, and
Oh, sure, yeah,
and Parayko,
the whole situation shouldn't have happened. Right. I get you.
And Parayko scrambled to dive and cut it out.
Yeah, that was bad. I didn't like that.
And maybe that's the, I think Bennington's a smart goalie, and he knows that other teams try that. I think if there's any fault with this, I think it's that he was too deep in his net, right? If he's out a little bit, he doesn't have to cheat to the one side, right? Whether Connor takes the shot, it's, he's got it with the blocker. If he tries the pass, he can cut it off with either the glove or the pad. But I think Parayko diving kept him deep in the net. So I'm not gonna put everything on Bennington on this play. And it was an all around team failure, but to call it a soft goal, I don't like that.
Okay, well let me kind of rephrase here what I meant by that is that out of all the goals he's given up this season,
you can attribute some fault to him.
I mean, I don't want to say it's a soft goal. A soft goal is a little harsh because actually the shot by Connor was a fucking amazing shot. And that thing was a bullet, tucked upper corner. I'm thinking even if Bennington's on the post, that spot's open. He may hit it anyway.
Right.
So
if Connor,
but to Bill's point, and I hadn't thought about that, Bill, if he comes out to challenge, he's got the angle, maybe, and it's almost impossible.
Maybe
to get that.
Maybe
shot
he
through.
has the angle on that. Maybe he does. Yeah.
And I just think that Parayko throwing his 6'6" frame across the slot keeps Bennington from being able to challenge.
Yeah, and I thought he dove too soon too. If you're gonna lay down, he laid down way too soon.
Yeah. Well, it was desperate because he's trying to cover up for Letty's mistake, and it wasn't a high quality pass by Parayko to begin with. Right, but he put his partner in
I'll tell you what
position, and
I'll tell you what, Parayko's pass, Letty should have had it. It went under his stick.
Yeah.
Now, granted, and Parayko was under pressure. Was a guy on his back. He was trying to get rid of it. So, and not the easiest of passes to receive, but Letty is an NHL player, and then he should receive that pass.
Right.
So,
even if he just gets his stick on it and stops it, and then it turns over, I don't think it's a 2-on-1.
It's different.
It's the fact that the puck just flew by him, and then that just creates the pass across, and boom! All of a sudden, it's a chance for Kyle Connor to put it at top shelf.
Yep.
Like if he even just gets a stick on it, I think it's a completely different play.
Yeah, and heaven help us if Kyle Connor and Clayton Keller ever play on the same team, because they will score 25 goals in one game against this team.
Let's hope that team does not have Connor Hellebuck in net either.
Right, they're straight up Blues killers. I mean, the guy has great career stats against us. I don't have him. I'm not quick to the hockey reference like you boys, but he's always
Patrick Laine's up there too.
Yeah,
that one game alone.
Yeah. November of 2019, wasn't it?
2018.
Right. Six goals.
4 goals.
4 goals, but what was the final of that game? Was it?
Oh, it was 7-1.
7-1. Yeah. God, disgusting.
Berube said about this goal that we talked about, giving up that 4-on-4 goal was unacceptable. It should have been a nothing play, and we shot ourselves in the foot there.
Okay.
So
you want to say that, Berube? Then do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cut Letty's ice time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's the shit right there that I'm like, if you're going to fucking call that out, sorry, man. I love Berube. You got to do something about it. That's lip service. If Nick Letty's still getting 21 minutes tomorrow night.
Right. So let me ask, what do you think the defensive change? You know, he's teased that there are going to be changes on bottom 6.
But
it'll be
Perunovic is coming in.
Tucker and Scandella.
No. I think you're going to see. If anything, we're not going to see Tucker head out.
We'll see Bortuzzo and Scandella.
Yeah, Bortuzzo in place of Scandella. That's my thought.
Not Perunovic?
No, I do not think we're going to see Perunovic.
I'll be annoyed.
God, I hope you're wrong.
I'll be annoyed.
I think Tucker has been fine overall, but yeah, I'm sorry. At this point, you got to get Perunovic some minutes.
And you know what? The power play is struggling. And what is Perunovic? Yeah. What is his specialty? Power play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You put Krug out there on PP1 and then Perunovic out there on PP2.
I bet you
that's the same player for 2 minutes.
They should go 7 defensemen. Okay, and then bring in Perunovic and Bortuzzo in place of Tucker.
Yeah,
so go 7 defensemen.
Right, but who's the forward that you take off?
Alexandrov.
Well,
he didn't play when Bushnevich was back.
Oh, right.
So it'd be Toropchenko or
Neighbors.
Toropchenko.
I would say Neighbors.
Toropchenko and Neighbors. No,
I'd say
Neighbors had an incredible game against Winnipeg. I don't take him out. I would say
Neighbors game was against Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, but I thought Neighbors played really well last night, though. He was all over the puck.
Well,
I think if you take out anyone on forward, it's probably Sammy Blais.
You think?
Yep.
I think so. Not Toropchenko either, because he had another really
No, I'm not dissing on Toropchenko. I'm trying to,
You know who,
make room.
Honestly, at this point, we'll talk about it later, I'm sure. But Kevin Hayes, I think, has been the weakest Blues forward.
Yeah, I agree. And that's we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
So late in the third period with a score 3-1 Winnipeg, Binnington pulled. The Blues caught a break when Winnipeg turned the puck over behind their net due to pressuring forecheck by Saad and Bushnevich. Bushnevich tries to quickly feed in front. It goes off a Jets player right to Thomas, who picks the low blocker on Hellebuck. Only down by 1 now with 3:23 to go. But then Winnipeg added an empty net goal with 1:50 to go, and that was the final.
So what happened? I mean, listen, they pulled the goalie with 4 minutes left, and I was pissed because I'm like, Jesus Christ, I get you're down 2 goals. Guess what? It worked out. Okay, 3-2.
At least he waited until we had possession. You know what I mean?
But he didn't do it the second time.
Didn't do it the second time, no.
The second time, the Blues had it in the corner, and then they kind of shoveled it forward, and then he pulls Binnington right when Winnipeg gets the puck
And it was
back.
like 3 minutes to go,
like,
or 2.
What are you doing, man? Get some decent ozone pressure and then pull the goalie. I can't
but you
tell you how many times I've said that.
No, it frustrates the hell out of me. They've the big swing with, being super aggressive with pulling the goalie just drives me nuts. I hated that as a goalie playing. Like, that was the last thing I wanted to do because, every goalie's going to think, God, this is my fault because, I gave up one more or however many. But to me, that getting chipped, 2 guys getting chipped on that play, 1 chip off the boards beat 2 guys. And, it was like Olay, instead of trying to make sure somebody was getting back quick, they're like watching the puck go past them. And, just too easy to go the other way. And then, eventually just a straight breakaway down the middle on an empty net. Never going to miss that unless you're Patrick Steffen.
We did a whole show on that again. Blues only had 4 shots on net in the fourth period when trailing in this game, which was kind of pathetic. St. Louis has lost its past 4 games in Winnipeg. The Blues are once again outshot 30-20. Bennington stopped 24 out of 27. The Blues won the faceoff battle in this game, 64.8% to 35.2%. Moneypuck's deserved to win-o-meter had the Blues winning this game 55.8% of the time in 1,000 simulations using advanced stats. So this is the first time this season that the Blues have been on the winning side of the deserved to win-o-meter on Moneypuck.
I think overall they played a very good game.
I thought so. I thought I was frustrated with the zone time and the offensive zone time was pissed me off. I didn't know what they were doing offensively, but I thought I agree with you. I thought if they could have sustained some offensive zone time, I thought they could and finished on some chances, some good chances, then they may win this game. But yeah.
And I think defensively overall, I think they were okay. I don't remember any miraculous holy shit Binnington what the hell kind of saves happening in this game. Right. I think overall they were fine. It was that 4-on-4 goal was garbage.
The 2 goals in 18 seconds were bad.
Those were bad.
The 4-on-4
but
goal.
I mean overall, I think they played a good game. It's just sometimes you don't win those games.
And and this came on the heels of the Pittsburgh game, which they played well. So, and the only bad game they played this season, was against Arizona, right? Mm-hmm. So, that's the silver lining, I guess, in this game. They didn't play a bad game. So, and it was in Winnipeg. Winnipeg's supposed to be a good team. So, and let's see what else we got. Yeah, that's all I got for this game. Unless you guys want to add something.
No, let's move into talking about the season as a whole.
Yeah, lack of offense for the Blues this season, zone time and shots. Before last night, the Blues were 31st in even strength offensive zone time percentage, and the Blues are 32nd in shots per game, 23.2, and they're 6th worst in shots allowed per game, 34.
So I'll say that again. We kind of said this earlier. I do think in terms of quality. I feel like the game against Dallas, I think they had a couple that Binnington had to come up huge.
Yeah.
Seattle, I think there was 1 or 2. I think as time has gone on, it's gotten better. Binnington certainly played well against Pittsburgh and Winnipeg. And, Hofer had his issues against Arizona. But I think overall, the chances haven't been that bad. Again, remembering what they looked like last year, they've been better.
I agree.
And so you're going to allow shots. When there's I remember a handful of chances last night even where Winnipeg just kind of threw the puck at the net and then Binnington just kind of smothered it and jumped on it. But hey, that's a shot on goal. They're going to get, up to 10, 12 of those a game sometimes, especially with this defensive scheme. So I think overall, I'm not that upset. It's the shots that is making me a little nervous.
Yeah. And, compared like 2 years ago, their offensive mindset was quality over quantity. And it worked for him, and that pissed off Dom at the Athletic because, his model factored in, quantity and the lack of quantity as a bad thing. But basically the Blues were at a higher shooting percentage. And he goes, that's not right. It shouldn't be happening. It's a goofy thing, but whatever. So, but that was and I don't think he ever failed to realize that was literally what they said their game plan is quality over quantity. Mm-hmm. So, they're not going to get a ton of shots. They're looking for that better chance as opposed to, just peppering the goalie with shots from everywhere.
Right. And, to not to be a Dom defender, but, his model got better about predicting the Blues because the quality of players that the Blues have had to say goodbye to since the 2019 run is massive, right? That no David Perron, no Tarasenko, now no O'Reilly, hell, Jaden Schwartz, right? Yeah.
Sanford.
Assistant captain of your Tucson Roadrunners. I saw that comment, Matt.
So as far as personnel, who have you liked and disliked so far on this team this season? I mean, there's probably an obvious choice or two, but what do you guys
Do
thinking?
we want to start positive or negative?
Let's start positive. Let's start.
Right,
Go negative. Negative first. We'll finish positive.
I don't like that I just poured my beer way too fast. That was a problem. All right, so let's just go one by one. And I'm sure you guys will agree. Colton Parayko.
No,
I think he played very well to start the year.
He said we're going negative first.
Oh, okay. All right. So let me just state the obvious. We already said it earlier. Marco Scandella, I think, is a shell of himself, and I think it's blasphemy to say that he is more deserving of playing right now than. I mean, I could name 5 defensemen that should be in over him right now for the St. Louis Blues, including players in Springfield. So that to me that's a product of he's got a contract. We would love to try and trade him for a draft pick. We've got to play him just because he's a name and a veteran and a big guy. We can't sit him. And that's the unfortunate part. But so yeah, for me, Marco Scandella is number 1.
Bill, what? Give me a name for disappointed.
Nick Leddy.
Nick Leddy. Okay.
I was still lukewarm on him last year, but I'm totally cold on him this year. I think he's just been a turnover machine, and his defensive zone coverage. Like when he's on his toes and he's got the puck and doing like Parayko does and skating the puck out, he's great. But when there are broken plays in the defensive zone and he's out there, there's the recovery is not that good, and lamenting having 2 guys. Like I think if we had either Scandella or Leddy, we could compensate with the other talent on this team, but having them both out there, they're almost, Leddy is, been hailed as a better player over his career, better skater, but at this point in their career, they're very similar players and, not effective in the defensive zone.
I'm going to venture to say this, and I don't know. I know some people said it and they were right, especially in hindsight. Nick Leddy may end up being Doug Armstrong's worst signing of all time.
Not necessarily because of him, but because of who we got up to get him.
Right.
Well, that and the fact that, again, not even so much to me, the dollar amount, the fact the guy cannot be traded.
He can't be traded. We gave up Wallman.
Nick Leddy?
If we just kept Wallman instead of trading him to get Leddy, right? If we just kept him,
right,
we'd be better off defensively. We had done nothing with Leddy and just kept Wallman and Sundqvist. We'd have a better situation. Now, granted, Wallman was up for a new contract, and who knows what he'd be making here, now. But whatever.
Yeah,
I will stand by. At the time, I'm okay with the trade because they saw Leddy as an improvement at the time. But to stick to your guns and sign Leddy, no.
I at the time I thought Leddy was going to be fine for us, but also at the time I did not like the Blues giving up on Wallman. I would have
I agree.
I would have rather the Blues stuck with Wallman than go with Leddy. But I said, well, if they're not going to play Wallman, then I think, okay, well, all right, well, Leddy will bring. He'll be okay. That'll be fine. I wasn't pissed off they got the guy we got in return. I was pissed off that we gave up on Wallman. We didn't have to do anything to just play Wallman. He wasn't playing enough.
Right. He was a guy that just I don't think he was an Armstrong guy. Right. And I think what exacerbates the problem for Nick Leddy is that he's also the opportunity cost of David Perron. Right.
Yeah.
We couldn't bring him back. Right.
I mean, there's so many things that go into that too, is like, because we wanted help defensively. And we were so deep offensively coming off that season, and Perron's contract was up. Technically he was aging. So it's like, we're really deep offensively. We can afford to lose Perron maybe, and then use that money to help on defense. I get the idea behind that, but what actually came out of that didn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, just tying that though to the trade that we didn't have to make with Walnut.
You're right. I know.
Right.
I know.
The whole picture is just probably the worst set of decisions that Armstrong's made.
And I'll say that I think that if they don't sign Letty and let him walk and then go somewhere other direction on D, I think I'm still okay with that trade at this point, because I would have said Jake Wallman was never going to play here for whatever reason under Berube and Armstrong, so you might as well get something for him. Blues made a run with Letty, sure, but
that's a whole
signing Letty after that. Mm-hmm. That was the mistake.
You know what this reminds me of?
That was the major mistake.
This reminds me of a little bit of Elliott when they wouldn't they traded Halak, right? And they didn't want they had Elliott and Halak, and they didn't want to give Elliott the number one job, so they brought in his name? Miller. When they traded Halak and brought in Miller, and my mindset at the time was, why aren't they giving Elliott the number one job? Why aren't they playing him more? And I said, well, okay, if they're not going to play Elliott, if they won't give him that job, then I was fine with bringing in Miller, because they weren't going to play. Because so I was okay. That's fine. I was. And people like to make fun of Armstrong for the the minuscule percentage upgrade or whatever 5%. But I mean. But there's some truth to that. If you can get a little bit better, why not do it in your mind if you think you are? So, and Miller didn't pan out here at all, so that flopped. So and that kind of reminds me of this a little bit. If they weren't going to play Wallman, okay, well then go after a guy that they will play and should, and hopefully works out. But that didn't. So same kind of thing for me.
All right, Kurt, who's your most disappointing?
Hayes.
Outside of the ones we've mentioned.
Hayes is the guy. He hasn't done anything. He has 1 assist in 5 games. He's the only time I notice him out there is basically when he's not making a play. When he's not making a play. Like he seems slow. He seems so slow out there and lost. Like he doesn't know where anybody is half the time. It's just he just looks out of place. He doesn't look like he fits in right now. And maybe that'll change in time, but holy cow, he hasn't done anything.
This is going to sound like a knock on him, but it's not. Coming in to the Blues, I was actually expecting a Yori Laterra type player. And I know that sounds ridiculous because he is hated here. But if you think about it, Yori Laterra as a third-line center, probably not a terrible third-line center. It's the Blues kept thrusting him into a top 6 role, which is not what he was. And that's what I thought with Kevin Hayes. I said, hey, the Blues are getting back a guy who is not the fleetest of foot, but from what I've heard, has decent hands, will go on the forecheck, can plug up the middle a little bit and, be a good neutral zone guy to create the offense. And maybe just trails behind them to play a little bit. That's what I was thinking with Kevin Hayes. And I haven't seen that at all. I haven't seen anything, literally anything positive out of that guy. And it's a little concerning
a little bit.
Because he's here for a while. He ain't going anywhere.
Cue the package before tomorrow night's game about all the little things he does in the locker room and the defensive positioning, and his time will come.
After this year, he's got 2 more years. So, I mean, he's not making a ton. He's making 3.5, but still.
Right. Because, Philadelphia picked up half his tab.
Right. So there's that. He's making 3.5. So keep that in mind when you see him play.
It is a small sample size. There are plenty of slow players who can still produce. I mean, Joe Thornton was still playing in this league.
Might still be.
What? Yeah, right. He was still in this league 3 years ago, so he can still be effective, even as not the fleetest of foot. But, he has been a ghost. It's been concerning seeing him on the ice. I see that 12, and I'm like, oh, that's Zach Sanford. He's giving us the same amount of production we expect out of number 12.
I mean, it's 5 games, so we'll see. We'll see how he works out. Talk to me about after 20 and 25 games how he's playing.
The fact that you said he had 1 assist surprised me. I actually didn't even know he had a point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he got. I thought I saw that's what he has. Yep, 1 assist. He's a +1.
Well, that's okay.
15 minutes.
Good.
15 minutes of ice time. 15, 18. So, players you've enjoyed this season that you've been not.
Well, I said it earlier.
Not surprised, but the players that play ball.
Well, I'll say mine's a surprise. I think Colton Parayko has been phenomenal to start. Ken Morris, actually, great point here. Mike Stone or Mark Stone, I think is who you're thinking of. Mark Stone is slow as well. Yeah, Mark Stone is a very slow player. As much as we hate that motherfucker, he is an effective player for the Golden Knights. So that's a very good point, Ken. Colton Parayko has really stepped his game up. I mean, it's not at 2019 levels at this point, but holy shit, it is at least top 2 defenseman levels. I mean, he's a guy who's made some smart plays. I know we kind of dogged him earlier for the early slide on that last Kyle Connor goal, but overall, like, sticks in lanes, he's blocking shots, he's making plays, he's creating offense, he's scoring goals as we saw against Pittsburgh. Again, I think Doug Armstrong said it before the season started. We didn't need to see a ton of offense from this guy. We just need to see him play defense, and we're seeing that. I think he's playing great defense. He's also doing that great skating and stick handling we've seen from him. He's jumping in on the offense, and he's getting back when he needs to. This is the Colton Parayko, and again, it's only been a couple games, but this is the Colton Parayko we thought we were getting when we let Pietrangelo go.
So he has 1 penalty this season. Do you guys know what it is?
It's not delay a game.
I was going to say,
right,
and no delay of game penalties in 5 games this season. So that's
because he's skating the puck and
not
trying
to clear it. Right,
hooking. It was a hooking penalty, wasn't it?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
So and Bill,
Brandon Saad.
Yeah, good one.
There was a guy that, like, when I tuned into the one preseason game I watched, I'm like, oh, he's still on this team. Like, completely not thinking about the guy whatsoever. Figure, he's getting up there. He's kind of our elder statesman in the locker room. And, if he can bring, some kind of level of maturity to help bring the young guys along, great. But he has just, he's playing, so much better than I would have expected at this point in his career, and having such great impact on these games. I mean, we covered the Pittsburgh game. He was so dominant in that game. And, we were worried with Buchnevich going out that, that top line's just going to kind of fall apart. And he made the top line work. And so much so that they kept it together last night. And I kind of hope they keep it together again. I think eventually we'll see Buchnevich back up there. But everything Saad's done has been golden, I think, this year.
I'm going to say Bennington. That's like, the obvious choice, but along with Parayko, I think. But the reason I could have said Verana, I could have said, another guy or two, but I think with Bennington is that, the defense now this season in the 5 games has been noticeably better than last season as far as the quality of chances they're allowing. So I think this just kind of backs up what we were saying all last season, as far as, if you put just a capable defense in front of Bennington, how he can play. And he's showing how he can play with a capable defense in front of him, not giving up these backdoor tap-ins or these high danger chances time after time after time. So, and he's been solid. He's been good. He's got the one, like we talked about, and not even really a soft goal, but, just the one goal against him on him that's, you like to see him play a little differently, but that's about it. So in 4 games. So I've loved the way he's played, and that doesn't surprise me he's playing this way. I'm just glad to see it because of basically the team playing better in their own zone. So I could say, what's played well has been, own zone defensive play, keeping shots to the outside, letting Bennington see stuff, blocking a lot of shots. They've blocked a number of shots this season, typically blocking more than their opponent, which is misleading in one regard because that just means that you don't have a lot of zone time and a lot of shots going towards the net. So they don't have the opportunity to block a lot of shots when you do, when they're peppering you. So, but still, you're playing better in your own zone, and the goaltender on paper looks better because of it. So, but we said this last season. We said that you put a better defense in front of him, he will put up better numbers, and that's exactly what's happening.
I'll add to your defensive play comment being better. I think actually, even though they haven't had sustained pressure and they haven't scored a ton of goals, I think the breakout overall has been better. How many times did we see the Blues try to break out and then turn the puck over at center, and all of a sudden it's a 3-on-1 the other way? Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just Letty. I mean, it was Parayko. It was.
I was talking about Letty in the last game.
Right. Yeah. Right. But yeah, I mean, it was rampant in almost every game last year. So to see the breakouts actually result in the Blues even just getting the puck deep and other times actually getting chances and getting shots on goal, that's a huge improvement from what we saw from last year. So I don't know if that's just a mindset competitive kind of thing, like, this is the team going forward, so we just got to learn to do this together, or if it's a coaching change. I don't know what it is, but overall, first 5 games, I felt way more comfortable when the Blues are actually breaking the puck out of their zone.
Yeah. And I'll say, to Kurt's comments about Bennington, the thing that has, been the most enjoyable for me is, the national media, picture that gets painted of him as, unhinged lunatic. And he has been just steady and cool as they come. Right. He's
even on that disallowed goal, the goal they challenged. He was like, he didn't throw a stink about it. That was
showing zero emotion in the net, and that's what I want to continue to see from him. Right. Well, he's 30, he's married, he's got to be past that at this point.
Well, and the thing that annoys me, and this is probably all media and just media commentary, like when something bad happens to someone, you never hear about, oh, well, actually, it turns out that didn't happen, and, good news came from it. The fact that right now Bennington's playing great, and again, it's only 5 games into the season, but have you seen one tweet or one thing from any of the national media members being like, hey, kudos, Jordan Bennington's making me eat my words from last season. He looks great. Like, no, of course not. We're not going to hear that all season. No. He's got one bad game, and we're going to hear, well, there's Jordan Bennington we know.
Yeah, well, so there was a piece that Wyshynski put out for reasons to watch every team going into the Frozen Frenzy last night, and he gave him that sideways compliment that, basically along the lines of what I was saying, right? The Blues goalie who's, known for the 2019 Cup run, but better known for, fighting in that, right? He's actually putting up numbers, and quoted at what was the expected goals against, and, said he's playing really well right now. Will he keep it up?
Okay.
Oh, so that is to be fair.
Yeah.
To be fair.
I mean, it's just the truth. He's just reporting on the truth. So
right.
Yeah. No, it's a good point though. Obviously, anything you say about anybody at this point in the season, it's like, wow, he's playing really well. Can he keep it up? It's been, it's early, a week and a half into the season, whatever. So. That makes complete sense. Next up for the Blues.
I was going to ask, any other notable mentions anybody has for either good or bad?
I mean, we can go and do every player, but we'd be here forever.
Let's do it. No. Let's have a 5-hour show.
No.
Now, I'll say my only other mention would be I've not enjoyed and we've kind of touched on this all night, Craig Berube overall. I didn't like, and we didn't talk about this, I did not like the option to go to Hofer in the third game. I get his reasoning that, well, this is a great break in the season. We just had 3 days off or 4 days off or whatever. And, we want to get Hofer in there and see some time. Dude, Bennington was rolling. I did not understand making that change at that game.
Division game too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You want to play him against out of the division or something, an away game.
You got a couple games coming up here against Calgary and Edmonton. Edmonton is struggling to open the year, and McDavid's not playing. Like, why not play him against fucking Edmonton?
Yeah.
That and just overall, again, like the fact that Scott Perunovich has not seen any NHL minutes yet, that is shocking to me. Scandella in there every game is a fucking joke at this point. And, his insistence to just keep going back to the well with those guys. Let's see a change. Let's get these guys some minutes. You got 21 guys on the roster. You had a couple, Arizona was the bad loss, but you've had a couple losses. Why not see what else you got in some of these other guys?
I actually want to see more of Shen. Shen hasn't. He's got 1 assist in 5 games. He's just haven't seen enough out of him right now. As captain, lead example on the ice.
But it was a great assist last night.
Yeah, but it was. But still, I want to see more out of him. He's the captain of this team. Needs to be more of an impactful player on the ice, to me. So, next up for the Blues, we got Thursday at Calgary, 8 p.m. Friday at Vancouver, 9 p.m. Back-to-back games, and then Wednesday, after a few days off, November 1st at Colorado. First really big game of the season. I guess you don't count Dallas, but
Colorado right now is 6-0, right?
Yeah.
That was like the one game that I paid attention before my mind just turned off with the overwhelming too many things going on the screen from last night. And it was like, looks like the Islanders are going to finally knock them off. And every time they would jump back to the game, Colorado's coming back and then eventually took it over. They are scary good.
They're a buzzsaw right now.
Yeah. So interesting that the Blues will be home after Vancouver. They come back to St. Louis for a couple of days before turning around to go to Colorado.
Yeah,
that was an interesting point that I thought they made. A lot of times, previous years with that West Coast trip, let's stay in Vancouver and have team bonding.
You would think it might be beneficial to get to Colorado early. And acclimate to the altitude, for a couple of days. Granted, acclimating to altitude takes weeks, right? Months, but still, you'd think getting there for a couple of days would be at least something. But Berube did say he's thinking about lineup changes among the bottom 6 forwards and on defense for Thursday's game in Calgary. So we'll see what he decides. We're hoping Perunovich gets in there.
Not expecting it, but hoping for it.
I made a mistake saying that they're playing Edmonton. That's right. They're not going to Edmonton on this trip, which is odd. It's Calgary and Vancouver.
Yeah,
so,
right. Vancouver.
But still, I think you, I don't know, Vancouver or even maybe Calgary is Hofer's first start of the season. Like that's how I would have played it. Yeah,
I think that would have been the right way to go about it. And since Kurt did the obligatory Ivan Haruchka Vancouver, I'll do the obligatory Calgary.
Yeah. Colorado. Say it like a Midwest person. Colorado.
Rapid fire tidbits from around the NHL. The Frozen Frenzy was on Tuesday. Every team was in action. Start times were staggered, and they were jumping around from highlight to highlight in live games for 4 hours. Thoughts on this? I didn't get to watch it at all because I couldn't. I was. My daughter had a band concert. My son and daughter had a band concert, and so I was there, and didn't get back here until so I was like watching the Blues game on delay. So I had to watch. I had to watch the Blues game. So I'm trying to catch the live TV, and I didn't get the live TV with the Blues game until I was. I didn't get live TV at all. I finally finished watching the Blues game around, I don't know what time it was, 10:30, 10 o'clock. So yeah, I didn't get to watch
Bill, did you get to watch it, Bill?
Yes.
Yeah, I know we talked about it a little bit, but
I had it on. I have a rather large TV in my basement, so I thought I'd take advantage of it and do split screen and have the Blues game on the one side, and then that. And yeah, it just like I said, I got quickly overwhelmed with everything going on, and it was a great idea. But again, we'll go back to our criticism of Apple products. The way that I had to have it set up was streaming the ESPN thing off my iPad to the TV. And whenever they would cut out, they didn't go to commercial frequently, but when they did, like I would have to completely restart the app to get the game going again. So just frustrating technology wise. And then, streaming it also, like the color was off. It was like this weird teal color for the entire thing. So, technical issues on my end. The idea of that is great. If NHL Network would just move to that full time instead of, the same, bringing in former players to talk about games, or even do that and just let them do that and make it rapid fire. Right, but you don't have all 16 teams playing. The second time in league history they did that.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%, and it was a lot of content to take in at once. And I've got ADHD, and I know that's like everybody likes to say they have ADHD nowadays. I actually have it, and so it was overwhelming to be like, because you're like, okay, I'm going to focus on this game. And it'd be like, you're in that for 30 seconds. Okay, now we're going to flash over to this game. Okay, hang on. Like, let me completely like refocus my mind. And I had to like tell myself, like, sit back, like, don't get too involved and just let this be what it is. Like, you're going to watch goals, you're going to watch saves, you're going to watch hits, you're going to, and I'll say, once I did that and I kind of like let myself step back from it, I loved it. I watched from 6 until the start of the Blues game, and that was overwhelming, just sitting there watching like every big moment. And then like a lot of times they would just kind of cut to play in between. They'd be like, let's go over to the Avalanche and Islanders. And they would just kind of like show you that for about a minute. And then they'd be like, okay, now back to the Sabres game. And they would just kind of do that until a goal was scored. And then they'd, show you that. And I loved it. The best part about it, though, was that once the Blues game started, I was able to, obviously focus on the Blues game, forget about what's going on over ESPN2. And then when the Blues game started and then they'd go to commercial and then flip back over to that. Because like a lot of times what I'll do is I'll flip over to NHL Network and I'll have On the Fly going. And it's, it's live, but it's not really live. Like a lot of the shit they're showing you happened an hour or 2 hours ago. So for this to be like actually caught up on what is going on in the game, in the moment, was really cool. And then the same thing with intermission. Like intermission came, boom, turn on Frozen Frenzy, watch that for 17 minutes, go back to the Blues game. Like that was perfect because it was just, oh my God, there's so much going on. And, when I'm intermissions, I'm just flipping through other games. Like, and again, the NHL with their terrible scheduling of like all games are going to start at 7 or 8 or 9:30. So like you flip off the Blues game at intermission and every other game's on intermission. That wasn't the case here. You're watching because they staggered the times. There's something going on at all times. And so it was so cool to be able to just flip through and be like, I'm just going to sit here and watch this for 18 minutes. It was so cool. I loved it.
Hopefully they'll do it again. Like it'd be nice if in the future they could do it. And I don't know how many opportunities they'll have to do it this season. Probably not with every team in action, but maybe they'll have with a night with most teams in action that could do it.
You figure Saturday nights would be great for it.
Yeah,
exactly.
All the teams wouldn't have to be going on. I mean, they could just do a night where almost every team is, going.
But, I know why they picked that night, but yeah, I agree. I mean, you could even do it with just 10, 12 teams in action.
Yeah, and hopefully, if it goes over well, hopefully that next season they can plan on it, like do it once a week or a couple times a month. Just to have to plan on doing this, and I would love to watch it. Did not get to.
Matt Harris says, I actually really enjoyed ADHD hockey. Always something happening. Switched it off right when the Blues came on, though. It was cool, Kurt. It's a shame you missed it. I really hope they do it again for you because it was really entertaining.
The NHL announced it was reversing the ban on Pride tape effective October 24th. The NHL announced in June that teams are no longer allowed to wear specialty jerseys during warm-ups, practices, or games during nights that supported causes like Pride or military appreciation. The league further clarified that on-ice player uniforms and gear worn in warm-ups, official team practices, and games could not be altered to reflect specialty theme nights. That included the use of Pride tape, rainbow-colored stick tape that's been used in support of the LGBTQIA+ community for several seasons. The league said that the ban on Pride tape was to prevent teams and players from using it as an end around to violate the new uniform policy. Isn't that some shit? Because they said that no players would wear the jerseys for the theme appreciation nights on the ice because it was a distraction. It became a distraction because some players were wanting to opt out of it or opted out of it. So it was just about the jerseys and the players not. So they didn't want players to be forced to do anything and be ridiculed in the public because of it. Okay, so on one hand you can understand the league's decision making process there, whether you agree with it or not. But then to overstep and extend it to tape, it's like, what? Why? This wasn't an issue. Let players, if players want to opt into this and just do tape, it has nothing to do with the uniform at all. The pants, jersey, gloves, nothing.
Well, and what I don't understand is and I know that, they were, okay. I'm trying to understand their logic. I think what their mindset was, okay, we've gotten rid of the jerseys. Now people are going to start focusing on the tape and saying, get rid of the tape just so we don't have to deal with that. But to me, I honestly feel like even the fucking bigots who are upset over the whole Pride thing in general, I don't think they're even going to notice the tape.
No, not really.
For one, like the people in the arena, they might look at it and see, oh, that sucks. But I don't think those people are even jumping on social media for that. Like, the tape is such a minuscule, minor thing. And then the people that are watching on TV, they're not noticing it because they're not watching the warm-ups on TV. So what the hell are you doing banning Pride tape?
They moved the goalposts. The NHL did, because they were trying to do one thing, but then so that players wouldn't be forced or felt bad or whatever about opting out of this. But then they said, oh no, and then they found out that players would use Pride tape to get around to show support because they wanted to. And then the league says, oh, you can't do that now. We're gonna widen this to cover that. And it's like, well, hold on, what's the message now?
Right.
They're changing it.
Right. They tried to solve a problem that didn't exist.
Yeah, and they were trying to basically just get everything off the ice entirely, which is stupid because in the rules it says it doesn't limit tape to black or white. It says any color.
Right.
So that's part of the CBA. That's part of what they agreed to. If they were gonna start finding players, that was gonna be a problem, because I'm sure the NHLPA would have then fought that.
Right.
So,
and
100%.
Yeah.
Right. And we would be remiss if we didn't say stick taps to Travis Dermott for having the balls to be the guy that did it. right? And the league backed down. I mean, it wasn't his direct challenge, right? But he was the guy that did it and forced the issue to the forefront. And also, Scotiabank, right, in Canada, major sponsor, and they gave away Pride tape at their locations, and it's like, shove it up your ass, Gary.
Encouraging people to use it, right? So I mean, yeah. So and when a major player in the NHL sponsorship, sponsor Scotiabank does that, the league's going to listen.
Yeah,
a lot of money.
It to me, it was sad that you have, you made a lot of progress with that, and you have these influencers in the game like Brian Burke, right? He's been influencer in a different term than we're used to using for social media, right? The guy's been around the league forever, and it's something that's he has been a champion of, and for the league just to shit on it. I couldn't believe that was the direction we're going. At least they saw the minor, the error in their way and made a minor correction on this point. Hopefully they will
imagine
eventually change it all the way back.
Can you imagine if Travis McDermott would have gotten a fine for this? I mean, it would have been all over every single news state. Like, CNN probably would have reported on that.
The NHL was creating negative PR here, and which is what they were trying to avoid in the first place. By initially saying, you know what, no jerseys, since some players have a problem with it, it's creating a bunch of bad press. That's all they're talking about. They're not talking about the night. They're talking about who's abstaining, right? So they didn't want to deal with it. But now, and then they overstepped, and they were creating bad PR on their own with this. And if they had fined somebody, and they couldn't have anyway. They probably checked with their lawyers. It's in the CBA. You can't fine players for doing something that's allowed in the CBA.
Right. And can you imagine that, though? If there was a fine for a player showing personal representation when there is something that is clearly not banned in the rule book, it could become a First Amendment thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it would have been a mess. And can you imagine? Because this clearly would go towards military appreciation nights, too. Can you imagine if somebody wore something like this on their stick for military appreciation and they got a fine for it? I mean,
just a single wrap of camo tape up near the handle. That's all McDermott did. He had a few inches of rainbow pride tape just below the handle on the shaft. That was it. And it was a simple little statement. Didn't affect anything negatively. It was just something that he was stating on a stick. Players and sticks, they do all kinds of things with their sticks, right? They'll put tape on it, markings on it, initials on it, kids' names, all kinds of stuff. You can't go telling players they can't do that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's like you said, Bill, that is taking away First Amendment rights. You're taking away their voice, and you just can't do that. I mean, come on. I could see if they're like taking the puck and wrapping that in some kind of tape. Okay. But when you're just putting tape on your stick, really? You're going to restrict me from doing that? It's ridiculous.
Matt Dumba of the Coyotes isn't surprised with the NHL flip-flopping on allowing pride tape. He said, and I quote, "You'll never get the answers for that. They don't have answers for a lot of things they do. They follow and try to save face." Ouch.
Good for you, Matthew Dumba.
Yeah, no kidding. That was it's true, because they're just chasing.
They react. Yeah, they react. That's all they do. They hear the vocal minority and they say, "Oh shit, our fans are against pride. We're trying to start these initiatives because we want to gain new fans, but our current fans are pissed. We got to listen to this crew." And it's like, that's a fraction of your fan base, dude. Like, there are so many. I mean, we've got one that listens to the show. Well, we got multiple, I know, that listen to the show, but one that's listening right now. And it's like, you think of the percentages, there's a lot of people that are either part of pride, involved in pride, friends of pride. You're minimalizing all of those people by taking away the ability for players to show their support for pride. And to just do that and blanket it, you can't do it anymore. so short-sighted by the NHL.
Yeah, it's embarrassing, and they need to just shut up about stuff in the future and stuff that I don't know. Run it by focus groups. Do large polls amongst a diverse group of people, just to make sure that you're not pandering to a vocal minority, and then pissing off 89% of the fan base.
Because you got to figure. I mean, let's say, okay, I'm throwing numbers out there, but let's just say 70% of people that are Blues or hockey fans, NHL fans particularly, don't give a shit about Pride either way. Let's just say it's 70%. By putting a ban on it, I'd say a good 40% of that 70% is like, okay, now I'm pissed at the NHL because you're just trying to minimalize, all these people that are fans of the NHL. So, like, by not doing anything, you're not upsetting that 70%. But by banning it, you're pissing off a large portion of that group of fans that didn't care in the first place. That's the way I look at it. And it's just so short-sighted by the NHL.
At least, I guess at least this move was, even though it's a wrong they created, at least they've righted this small wrong here. Baby steps, right?
Well, and that's what I said. That's what I said on Twitter. I'm like, hey, it's the small victories, but I'm like, really, at the end of the day, this shouldn't be considered a victory at all because it should have just been the status quo.
And I guess you can blame the media too for a lot of this because when a Pride Night did happen, what eventually, because of Provorov, right? Provorov, what became the story? Every time there's a Pride Night, who's not wearing the jersey? Is anybody opting out? Who's not wearing it? And that was the story. It wasn't, and that wasn't the NHL's doing. That was, although it was their doing and allowing players to opt out of it. So, but then that's a gray area too. Do you want to make players wear the jersey if they really don't want to? If it's against their personal beliefs, however fucked up those beliefs may be. So that's a rough area. I understand the NHL's in between a rock and a hard place there. As far as how they want to handle that, I get it, but yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully it swings back the way a little bit, and they can figure something out to allow representation of these special events and stuff on actually be displayed on the ice a little more with jerseys and whatnot.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how much comes out during the next CBA negotiation, which thankfully not soon, that the players will push on these issues.
Yeah, I mean they've got I'm drawing a blank on his first name, but Prokhov, the prospect. I don't know if he'll ever play in the NHL, but first openly gay professional hockey player. Yeah. Maybe at that point you've already got a couple of them, and so those teammates are going to be like, hey, we got to push on this stuff because we want these guys to feel represented.
That's all I got, guys. Wrap up the show.
That's all I got.
I did want to say one thing. Tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. I'll be on with Randy Molman, KXOK 102.9 FM in St. Louis, KXOK.com if you want to listen online.
Why is that not in the announcements?
I don't know. I forgot about it. I forgot. It should have been
8:30.
8:30. Yeah, 8:30 to probably 8:45, 8:50, something like that. We'll be on Talking Blues Hockey.
What was Randy the Molman. Website again?
KXOK.com, and it's 92.9 FM in St. Louis. Probably comes in better in St. Louis. Outside St. Louis, it gets kind of fuzzy.
All right, I'm going to pull it up now so that way I remember in the morning.
Yeah, and they always put it out as a podcast later in the day, so I'll share that link when it comes out of the podcast on Twitter, so folks can listen if they want to later.
It says it's on air FM 102.9 and 92.9.
And 92.9. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Taking up 2 spots on the dial.
Nice.
Twice as good.
And you said you were with the Mole Man, huh?
Yeah, Mole Man. Yeah, he has
good
me
man.
on a few times a year. Yeah, it's just to talk hockey and stuff. It's fun.
Bill, you're going to be surprised to know that I was in the media. I remember Mole Man from my media days. Very good guy.
What was the name of the guy that you were on, a regular on?
The Z-Man.
The Z-Man, yeah.
Yes, the Z-Man. On Mondays, I was Tuesdays and Thursdays, I believe.
Yeah, I used to listen. It's good stuff.
We had Jamie Rivers on the show once or twice.
Yeah.
Back when he was coaching the St. Charles Chill, which I think is a time in his life he'd like to forget.
St. Charles Chill. All right. I guess we'll shut her down. Earl.
What other option do you have?
None.
Support
for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by ID Life, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA. Visit rockandthatidlife.com for more information. That's rockandthatidlife.com, and get 10% off by emailing Dustin at rockandthatidlife at gmail.com and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. And by Mark Burgoyne from Mike Burgoyne Realty, from Real Brokerage Realty. You can call him.
Gave him a new website.
Oh, yeah. You can contact Mike at 314-753-4060 today for all of your home buying and selling needs. And by Center Ice Brewery, St. Louis's tasty hockey-themed beer. Check out your local beer vendors for availability. That's Center Ice Brewery beer. Please drink responsibly. That'll wrap up episode 3 of season 13 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Jeff Ponder, Bill Day, and Austin Lynch, I'm Kurt Price. Until next time, everyone, you're still here? It's over. Go home. Let's go Blues.
Gummy bear? It's been in my pocket all day.
Fuck Kansas City. I guess fuck Kansas, right? Let's go Blues. Let's go City.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Sport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. A look at fourth. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to number 1. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight again. They're rough and tough and got the stuff to win. They'll always get one more, no matter what the score. They are quite a hockey team, my friend.